So uh, today we would like to discuss about what we have done, discuss it in representative with, and of course, it's also will be a focus for the new government. This is my disclaimer. I hope so. Uh, it's not justified as not as ethics. And we would like to start from the condition of global economy and so dynamic and complex. So the real problem is the deflect the inflation in Bank Central and also in America in 70 at the end of 80. So it's deeply high. So it's deeply increasingly, and then the Fed increase um the rates until now it's 18%. That's when the one of my shocks in American in after the depression. Maybe the inflation is not about put in the shock. It's more than one decades in the modern country. The inflation relative is more decreasingly, or in Europe it's zero, or it's a little bit depression deflation. In Japan it's about decades, 8 decades of deflation. It's like more consumption like drugs or the uh, food. People it's pessimic. It's deeply turned into the decreasingly. Inflation make the stimulate. We feel like is there any hope? But it's very too much. It will be makes worse for the cell. The happen is that after the pandemic, we would like to now about the 2020. We cannot together like we need to in the home. It's about the virus pandemic global. As we can as we can see the virus we can depression we suddenly is decreasingly and suddenly new normal and the um, net netto rates is deeply increasingly. It was Romo Effendi was said maybe the god take a rest, but in the pandemic the we need to take a rest by the nature And then let's continue the activity. All right, so it's so the request from the activity from the people cannot the from the supply that makes the inflation. In addition, war in Ukraine and Russia war is the energy resources and then the food resources makes the new um, reason for the food and the energy. There is no CPO oil. There's no crisis of the oil cooking and the disruption about the pandemic and then normal and then geopolitics happens and war and disruption high inflation bank central it's suddenly focus in around the world central banks it's about the disruption supply. It's not amount the money. It's about make a complexity of the responsibilities respond. Bank central. It's about to hide the rates. Bank central also to increase much fast in the short time. For example, America also up their rates and it's increased about 5%. It's not more than 18 months. Like a good body, it's about the shock or then a big wind or cool ice and then the hot weather in a sun and economy also to same economy will be weak. There will be a predictable economy in 2022 and 2023 and continue 2024. Junior, it's not okay. There will be a start in the shock to weakness of the economy. It's the one of the rates, but the inflation is stubborn. They will never deeply decrease. Inflation is also not deeply decrease. There are so many analytical economy. It's the reason about the terminology open for higher for the longer. The higher is the inflation, the rate is also high. That is not the fast time to get down increase decreasely. This is one of the prospect about the that must be at 10, but the stellar is the rates high. It's all over in around the world. This is not only the uh, matters of the world and increase of the matters of the world. It's not like 3 decades over. The US will be received. The China give access to the WTO in China, and their relationship is not okay. because the political in America, all of the FDI and exporter from the China, it will be make not okay for America, and it's dominant of the America. The world is not okay. It's about the geopolitics problem. It's not only the complex two different things. We also spread the problem problem human being also doing activities can world can sustain like a 6 million to the 7 million, maybe 9 million billions. That is, I'm sorry, Roman Mandis, this year is not old, but the people of up until 65, I think the societies began to aging. There's many other neighbors country, maybe the aging. Singapore is about 1 decades request the women marriage and wants to have a child. That's a policy package from the Singaporean to the honeymoon. And China also have a one child policy, but it will be huge, massive in South Korea, uh, like Japan. I'm sorry, male dominated, like alpha male. It's about makes the women not worth to neighborhood and the rise of children. It's make the aging population more faster. European also famous, but the and Asia is also rapidly. But the human growth is the in Philippines. We all know Jesuit, Africa, some unfortunately they make very poor. The children is more massive, but in India it's like aging, and the aging population is combination will be make economic global heavily. We attend the disruption from the technological, the world fragmented. Same as like we what doesn't mean makes a fragment. Maybe the order of the order is cannot um, defense, but the new order. Remember this new order. The the world is the new order. This is an economical magazine, the new economic order. I think it's framed what new order going to be look like. Look like I would not salted the sea. I quoted from the Pope Franciscus in all of the Jesuits. He said that we need two ways. In one way, in on the way to take a responsibility or solidarity root from the justice, mainly in Malaysia, in a confederation of global of economy Islam, take some in justice and nationality united for the plan of God for of the our world. On the other hand, other way it's dominated uh focus on the nationalism, protectionism, individualism, and also the discredited. This way, avoid the poor people and the discredit in their life in or in the not in the individual, but it's also in a country. They threaten their and for the people. This way not gonna win mission and you accept for the Jesuit. Is it correct? I'm just quoting. I'm not attending. This is exactly what is happened in a meeting of G20 with the presidency. That's all start from the February month, and then the Ukraine war is happened. The G7 said you need to expel Russia from the G20, like or not. The G7, you have already the group. You choose among yourself, but it's not easy. Inside of the blocking system, protectionism, discrete the become real in the atmosphere. The global world fragmented. That most discredited is a poor people and discredited people. Climate change is about the poor people and then discrediting people. Global and fragmented people will also happen. It's all called out as a human being have a heart for the justice. Back to the economy. When we look in 2020 years, a global environment is very difficult. In this situation, we're good, God, we're very good. The economy is will growing in a 5%, but in a global is a decreasingly. But our inflation is about 2.6. The inflation is more higher for the longer. The our values is stable from the assumption. The higher from the Federal Reserve, the capital outflow it's back to the America. But in these situations, from the ESBN obligation, it's above in a 7%. When the America in a 5%, we cannot deeply increase in. This is the achievement of remarkable. Because I know this. All the stable, it's everything is fine. This year, 2024 for the environment is not going to be okay. And we need to take the headwinds from the quarter one. We need a good start, but it's not taken for granted. Our inflation in at 3%, and also the value exchange is about 16,000. Our rates get oppression at the 7% or 9.74%. after the year, the April is 6.74. The oil rates it's about in a Middle East country make the global conditions not well. We cannot complain the weather in very fast. When you have humidity in your body and if there storm or we are wet, go wet, we cannot control that. We have to control our body. Resilience is the important thing. Our trading balance. When you have a question, you need answer the Bumari. She also a trade minister. The Hillarization creates trade a new imminent of the more higher. In the 2023, in a surplus 100 billion, it's weakening our weakening export our export. But our inflation is good enough. It's 6.4 at the food. I remember my mother is a statistician. He understand about the statistic. It's questioning about me. My hobby is a minister, but I'm already a treasurer minister. It is also like this, but the government said the 5%. It's that's mom going to the market, the rice and then the chicken. It's about the 30%. How you can calculate it? This is the human is not illiterate. It's a professor and stylistic. It's more silly to make a conversation, but the conception of the people like that is about the food. Otherwise, you're talking about the PPS. What is competition and threat on the in the heavily of the netto of cigarettes surface certain surface consumption in society. The trade inflation is much higher, and then the government also observe. The observation is not only a central bank. This is about logistic distribution of um, amount. And now in APP and fiscal, we call our money not Kemenkeu money. It is one of component in incentive fiscal to the local government. We would like to give a reward to the local government. We all know in a local, it's about the it's much higher increasingly. That's the one problems we need to very anticipate. We need to give the reward for the taking care of the commodities. It's about the Indonesia relatively keep up the inflation much decrease. Also, it's not involved with the global commodity. With that thing, we need to keep our confidence market or the consumer That also mentioned that the pressure is about our consumption, our consuming. Also, keep it up. The threaten is very. There is a demand also involved. We need to anticipate. But our economy in but our economy can grow in 5.11. Then it makes creates a library and decreasely the poorness. But in a 9.36, the extremely poor we can makes the poorness extremely poorness to the 0% or almost 0% in 2024. This is about achievement. We're not oriented by the growing, but a job creation. It's not about in Jakarta or Java, but the growing in any outside of Java. How about the IKN in on the budget? Why it's growing in Kalimantan? There is so many in highway in Kalimantan is very big. It's a lot of money. Diverse. They can perform another source of growth. Can in and Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Papua, and Maluku, and much other and smelter. Bali after pandemic is recovered. Our economy regional, we need to keep up, and then the growing is not concentrate in a one region or one place. The journey of Indonesia is still far. Is there a middle upper? It's not about guaranteed, not like a high income country. 194 countries, high is not much. It's much better that countries release from the high middle income trap. Asia is also a good graduately. Our neighborhood country like a Singapore, Malaysia, or Hong Kong is start begin, but he part of China, South Korea, and now China is will catching up. It makes Asia will relatively in a vibrant region because Asian territory it's peaceful. It's like not in Middle East or some part in Latin America. So we need to invest it in important investment. It means a human being. The reason is increase the productivity. We cannot increase the productivity from the only from the investment for the infrastructure. The most important thing is will of the human being and the institution.